Let's cut the chase. Netflix, I'm coming for you in today's episode. Bonjour, my loves. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing fine. So, you heard me correctly. Yes, I'm coming for the streaming giant that we all once used to love, but has been making some questionable moves lately. From bizarre content choices to constantly increasing their prices, and honestly, the list goes on. It's like they're seriously testing our patience. Well, before we dive into this current mess, let's take a quick trip down memory lane and explore the history of Netflix to understand how we got here. The rise of Netflix. It all started back in 1997 when Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph came up with the idea to rent DVDs by mail. By 1999, they had already introduced a subscription model, unlimited DVD rentals, no late fees. It wasn't until 2007 that streaming entered the picture, shifting the company from DVDs to digital content. Fast forward to 2013, Netflix changed the game with House of Cards, its first original show, which took the platform to new heights. Then came international expansion, industry awards, and a library of original contents that had the world hooked. By 2021, Netflix boosted over 200 million members globally, cementing its place in entertainment history. So, with all this success, why is Netflix constantly raising their prices? So, the increase of plan pricing. These options are in Canadian dollars because in I am in Canadian. I am Canadian. Sorry. So we have three options. The first one is standard with ads. You heard me correctly. With ads, which is a total of $5.99 a month. You then have standard, which is $16.49 a month. And then premium, which is $20.99 a month. And by the way, these prices are without taxes. So let's not forget that there are going to be even like more higher with taxes included. So unfortunately, this change means that all Canadian will now have to pay either $16.49 a month or $20.99 a month for watching Netflix without ads. Like, that's crazy to me because they're literally going against their business model, which is providing a large catalog of movies and TV shows without having ads and without and with being convenient with their lifestyle and their schedules. So now having ads, even though it's still an option and it's not as if like all the options have ads, it's still crazy to me. Even more knowing that the standard with ads is 5 times cheaper than the premium and 3 times cheaper than the standard, which makes sense why people are choosing this option. More specifically, it has proven quite popular, having reached over 40 million users worldwide, the standard with ads option. This is absolutely insane. Like, people are renouncing their right to watch Netflix without ads because it's that cheap. This is insane. And plus, I have a friend of mine who also has this option, standard with ads, and apparently, and I've verified this information, every time there's a new release, they don't receive it like from the start the same time as us. They may receive it later, or some movies and TV shows, they just straight up never receive it because of like licensing rights and blah blah blah. But like, what do you mean? You're still paying at the end of the day. You're still suffering watching these ads. That's insane. Insane. But at least they're not worse than Prime Video that has ads no matter like the options that you have. That's crazy. I'm gonna have a whole debunk of that later. And you know what's even more frustrating? Netflix has made it clear that account sharing is a no no. So, even having to pay a certain price a month. We cannot even share our accounts, which, don't get me wrong, I get it. You are losing thousands and millions of dollars a year in revenue because of people sharing their account. But you know what the solution they found to resolve this issue? It's to add a feature that's called additional members, where you have to pay on top of your subscription price, which whether it's standard with ad, standard or premium, you have to pay for this new feature, additional with ad, which will be $7.99 without tax per month. It's not like a price you pay a one-time thing. It's not, sorry. It's not something you pay once and you never have to think about it again. No, you have to pay $7.99 a month plus your subscription without taxes again for this additional member. That's insane. That's insane to me. And that's so pricey. And I feel like that's not a great solution. Because who would do that? Who would actually pay for that? I actually did. Sorry. Well, it wasn't on purpose. Because in my family, I'm the one who pays my Netflix account. Well, our Netflix account. And for last month, I realized that the Netflix account costed more than the other months. And I was like, hold up a second. What is going on? Why suddenly there's an increase of like almost $10? So I've looked it up, and someone hacked our family's Netflix account. Like, that's crazy. And this person added an additional member feature, which is $7 without taxes. With taxes, it's exactly $9.19. And when I saw that, I was like, there's no way. So I changed our Netflix password. I made it way more complicated. I guess it was a little bit our fault. It was like our last name with 123. Come on, be better. And I made the password way more complicated. I've kicked out this like random person. I've contacted Netflix through their, not messenger, but like through their chatbot, and they answered so fucking fast. I had like, of course, a refund of this $9.19. So happy for that. Like, honestly, their customer service, like, all of this was resolved under 5 minutes, which crazy, but at the same time, it's Netflix, a mega company, so completely understandable. No one deserves any less. But yeah, account sharing, and plus, if you have an account sharing, you cannot even see that this person was added like on your, not on your desktop, but like, you know, when you enter Netflix, you have all the profiles. You don't even see this person's profile. Like, it's really as if this person had a whole separate account. But in reality, they don't. It's like a conjunct account. And I just wonder, like, this additional member, like, why would they pay $7.99 plus their subscription if they can just like have a whole subscription account to themselves? If you are like running low on money, you can still have standard with ads, which is $5.99, which is $2 cheaper than the additional member feature. Like, I just don't get it. Honestly, don't get it. But you know what? Maybe it's just Netflix trying to stay competitive. After all, they're not the only streaming platform in the game anymore. Let's talk about the streaming wars. Is there too many options? If you want to watch Euphoria, you need HBO Max. If you want to watch The Summer I Turned Pretty, you need Prime Video. Oh, and if you want to watch Outer Banks, you need Netflix. And honestly, the list goes on and on and on. Like, it's horrible. Every platform has its exclusive content, and that's where things get messy. We're now forced to subscribe to multiple services, each with its own what? Each with its own monthly fee. That's, again, insanity. Like, who do you think we are? like you are clearly not like working at a like minimum wage salary because we cannot afford that. This explosion of streaming services mirrors what psychologist Barry Schwartz calls the paradox of choice. While more options may seem beneficial, it can actually lead to stress and dissatisfaction. As the number of options increases, the effort needed to make a choice increases and the level of satisfaction with the choice decreases, which is exactly what all these streaming platforms feels like. Remember the days of traditional TV when everything was curated and you didn't have to know the behind the scenes details to enjoy your favorite show? Sure, we were limited by the provider's scheduling and often slow access to content, but there was something lovely about the programming and being able to navigate via one platform that grouped content by categories and a list as channels. Like, what's the point of having so many different streaming platforms who, most of the time, sometimes their content like is pretty similar from one platform to another because they share the same mostly American movies and TV shows, and sometimes they have like their own, each streaming platform have like one or two show that's like only in this platform. Like I said, Euphoria in HBO Max, The Summer I Turned Pretty in Prime Video, Netflix Outer Banks, but still like it's crazy. And plus, I feel like this having so many streaming platforms offering in some of them like different like popular TV shows, it's like it just makes engagement of their customers even more difficult to attain because like I said, have you worked at a minimum wage salary? Like clearly these streaming giants haven't, because paying, well, I think Netflix, tell me if I'm wrong, I think Netflix, the premium option, is the more expensive in the market with $20.99 a month. But most of the streaming platforms are like a little under $14.99, $12.99, $13.99. So having to pay all these different prices in the same month, and that's just for entertainment, that's just like after work, it's 8 p.m, you just want to like relax and watch your like something before going to sleep. That's not even like as if you own the movie, like physically own something. No, no, no. And I feel like about engagement viewership, I feel like now people will be like, oh, I want to watch for a month Prime Video, and then I'll unsubscribe and watch for 2 months Netflix because Outer Banks season 4 part 1 and 2 are releasing like in the next 2 months. So I'm gonna go on Netflix and then I'll unsubscribe to go back to Prime Video. Oh, and Hulu has released this new show, so I'll go on Hulu and unsubscribe from Prime and Netflix. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's just a whole shit show. And I feel like, honestly, they don't get it. Aya says that they don't get it. Because now, not only we need to know which streaming platform owns the rights, but we also have to subscribe, like I said, to all these different platforms just to stay in the loop. Which comes the paradox of streaming platforms versus cable TV. The whole point of streaming was to ditch expensive cable packages, right? Yet, here we are, juggling multiple subscriptions that end up costing just as much, if not more. Even worse, some streaming platforms are introducing, like Netflix, ad-supported tiers, reminding us of the commercials we were once so happy to leave behind, and Prime Video. You know what's the biggest irony? Services like Hulu Live TV or YouTube TV are now offering live television, bringing us right back to cable-like bundles. Streaming is turning into exactly what it's set out to replace. That's insane. That's insane. Why are we paying so many dollars a month to watch a show with ads? Where's the premium experience? Where's the benefit for us? Which begs the question, are we really any better off? And again, I may sound pretentious, but I really don't think that these streaming platforms are fighting in the right way to have certain shows and TV shows. It's just not the way to differentiate themselves. For Euphoria to have, no, for HBO Max to have Euphoria, Outer Banks Netflix, Somewhere Turned Pretty Prime Video, that's not the right way to differentiate yourself to offer different catalogs of entertainment in different platforms. In theory, it should, but in reality, no, it doesn't work like that. You should take a look into the music industry. Let's take Apple Music and Spotify. Imagine, can you fucking imagine if you want to listen to Taylor Swift? There was a world where you only well, not only, you need to have Spotify because she isn't in Apple Music. Or you want to listen to Sabrina Carpenter, who isn't on Spotify but is on Apple Music. Imagine if that system of streaming platforms was applied in the music platforms. Like, that would be so crazy. Because what the actual fuck? Imagine, like, having to juggle all these music platforms. This is insane. Like, it's not beneficial for the artists, and it's not beneficial for the customers. But these streaming platforms, they only care if it's beneficial for them, and they don't care about us, our needs. And that's insane. Again, because we are the one paying for you. And this is how you're treating us? This is crazy. Crazy. I feel like they should have all the same catalog. Maybe not exactly the same. Like, Hulu is more centered around reality TV. Netflix, lately in the last years, is more centered, I feel like, in their new shows into Netflix originals. I feel like, okay, I'm kind of contradicting myself, but like, yes, you can have some shows and movies that are different from the others, but the popular one, I feel like, should be accessible in all platforms. And to differentiate yourself from your competitors, you should have features that are doing this for you and not in your whole content base. For example, like Spotify, the way that it differentiates itself from Apple Music, it's that Spotify is really strong. It's really strong when it comes to playlists. Like, Spotify's playlists are top tier compared to Apple Music. Like, honestly, who does like Apple Music playlist for real? Like, I do one just like randomly for like, I have one for road trip, but like, it's not like, I don't put the same effort as if it was Spotify. Ooh, sorry, my stomach. As if it was Spotify. And I feel like the streaming giants should take inspiration into that. I'm not saying that they should like make movie playlists, but I'm saying that they should. Like, how iconic would it be? Imagine if my friend Ariane makes me like Christmas movies playlist. Like, that would be so adorable. And she sends me the playlist and I'm like, perfect. Like, I'm always complaining that I'm always searching for like new movies, new Christmas movies, but now she made me a playlist. I can see what are her favorites. Or even they can include like, oh, this is your favorite actor's favorite movie in the moment. Like, little features like that, I feel like they're more entertaining and they feel more unique than to offer different content. Like, that doesn't make sense. So, after dealing with streaming platforms raising their prices, adding ads to their plans, and needing to pay for like a million different services just to watch your favorite shows and movies, we've kind of gotten used to it. But now, on top of all that, we can't even binge watch a new season because they're splitting it into two parts. Netflix, I'm talking to you. Just when we thought it couldn't get any more annoying, right? So the 2-part seasons. I don't know if you have noticed, but in the last year or so, Netflix has been a huge fan of splitting their seasons into 2. And it seems to have a clear motive to get viewers to maintain their subscriptions for longer.
By breaking up the season, viewers can't just binge watch their favorite show and then cancel. Instead, they're locked into at least 2 months of subscription fees. And if you notice, these season splits are never neatly contained within a single month, like September 1st to September 30th. They always stretch into the following month. Shows like, well, before I start with the other paragraph, this is so fucking dumb because it may be a short-term solution, but long-term, once everyone is doing this method of like having Netflix for 2 months and then canceling it, what will they do? Splitting the series into 3 parts? Like, what's... I don't get it. It's a short-term solution. Yes, I agree. Good solution or not? Get your coin, I guess. Get our coins, I mean. But once Netflix would get used to like people getting, like I said, subscribing for 2 months and then leaving, and they will want more revenue from that. They want people to stay longer. I no lie, I think they will fucking divide this season in 3 parts. And there's not even enough content to be divided by there's barely enough content to be divided by 2, which are little like 8 episodes a season, 42 minutes each. Like, this is crazy. So not only we're waiting a year and a fucking half each season to get a new season, and we just have little 8 episodes. We cannot even watch them at our own pace. We need to like watch part 1 and then part 2. And you're probably saying like, hey, you can wait for part 2 to like all binge watch the season. In theory, again, I can. But you know who won't let me do that? TikTok. TikTok won't let me do that. Because there's always people who are going to spoil me, even more when it's popular shows. So I'm kind of forced to watch part 1 and then wait for part 2. Like, I'm speechless. And if you're wondering if it's a new thing, actually it's not. Shows like The Sopranos and Breaking Bad have used this strategy before, says Kevin McEwan, media director at Bonded Agency with over 17 years of experience in TV marketing. It's really about keeping viewers engaged with the show for a long period of time. With attention spans shrinking and more content than ever competing for viewers' eyes, it's becoming harder for streaming platforms to keep their content relevant. That's why splitting season is becoming more common. Like I said, splitting season, if there's 23 episodes a season, sure, which is the case for Breaking Bad and The Sopranos, and each of them still have 40 minutes episode each. Understandable, split it in 2 if you want. Do that. But for 8 episodes? 8? That's insanity. Like, we can't do that. It was working back then because they had more content, but now... And these new TV shows, there isn't. Like, don't do that. And if you know what? If Netflix wants to do like the 2-part seasons, do it on shows that are completely new shows. Like a show that is going to release its season 1 in October. Okay, separate it in 2 parts if you want. But don't do it to shows that we have known to be released all in one shot, like all the season in one shot, and we are used to our little binge watch moment every season, and now suddenly, like, for example, Outer Banks having 2-part series. Like, no no you've lost me. And if you want to do that, like I said, do it on new shows that are releasing their season 1. And if you want to really work, do it. Release a whole new show, a Netflix original if you want, with 23 episodes, 40 minutes each, divided in 3 if you want. But at least give us more content. I feel like with Netflix strategies, they're only taking from us more than giving to us, even though we are paying fucking expensive prices. And all you do is take. I hate that. And it's crazy because if you think about it, one of most Netflix's like best shows, like Gossip Girl, The Office, Glimmer Girls, the list fucking goes on. Vampire Diaries, I'm not sure if it's back. Anyways, all these four shows, and the list honestly goes on, they're all long ass TV shows with like almost seven seasons each, 23 episodes each, 42 minutes each. But every fucking year, people are rewatching these shows because they're classics. Because Netflix, well, not Netflix, these shows were made before. But in before's television, around the 2000s, 2010s, when these shows were released, they were giving the budget to have a proper storyline, to have character development, to have little special episodes like a Halloween episode, a Christmas episode, a Valentine's Day episode. It was more, I wouldn't say realistic, but it felt more, it felt well done, it felt more genuine, and it felt really like we were following the show as we were living our lives. Does that make sense? But now, fucking Netflix with its original shows. Like, bring back storylines, bring back characters development. Like, honestly, if maybe it's a hot take. If Netflix brings, like, does a little, like, Gossip Girl type of show, Pretty Little Liars type of show 2.0, and releases a new season 1, not even like in two parts, release every episode of the 23 episodes in a season, one episode per week, I would fucking watch that. Because I would get hooked into the storyline. I would get hooked into the character's development, where the story takes me, the little special episodes and stuff. And the show would be able to take more risks in its own season. So I can wait an episode a week. I can do that. I have no problem doing that. But because they're offering me something in exchange, longer content. You know, like, I feel like I can talk about that, having this whole rant for, like, honestly, 2 other hours. But let's keep it moving. So we think that it can't get any worse, right? So please tell me what all these TV shows have in common. Fate the Winged Saga, Mindhunter, The Society, Julie and the Phantoms, Spinning Out, Grand Army, Lockwood and Co., Shadow and Bone, Sense8, DOA, and honestly, again, the list goes on and on and on. What does these TV shows have in common? I give you 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is they're all shows that have been cancelled by Netflix. That have been cancelled by Netflix after just, in most of them, 1 or 2 seasons, despite having dedicated fan bases. So I'm paying higher prices each month. You are releasing 8 episodes a season, dividing it in 2 parts. You are fucking getting on my nerves, and you're canceling shows that I fucking love? You want to beef? Let's fucking beef. I will learn box. Let's get on that ring, and I will fight. I'm not sure if I would win, but I will fight. Because what is going on? So listen, what I found about, like, the statistics and stuff. If a television program has a smaller audience, even with an ardent fan base, it could be cancelled by Netflix. If a series has a particular niche genre, it might be using up the budget that could be spent on a show in more popular genre. The idea is that since you know that Netflix cancels so many shows after 1 or 2 seasons, ending them on cliffhangers and leaving their storylines unfinished, it's almost not worth investing in a show until it's already ended, and you know it's going to have a coherent ending and finished arc. So you hold off watching new shows, even ones you might otherwise be interested in, because you're afraid Netflix will cancel them. Enough people do this, and surprise, viewership is low. And the show ends up cancelled. The loop is closed and reinforced because now there's yet another example cited, causing even more people to be cautious the next time around, which reinforces the paradox of choice I explained earlier by the psychologist Brian Schwartz. And now we've reached a point where, unless a series is some sort of record breaking mega hit like Wednesday or Stranger Things, a second or third season feels like not even a coin flip, but more like a 10 or 20% shot at best. What the fuck? What the fuck? So, you are giving smaller shows some budget. Not a lot of budget, just enough. Not barely just enough, anyways. If this show does well in their own genre, maybe it's niche, but being niche isn't bad. Honestly, like we say, the nicher you go, the bigger you grow. But if this show is in a specific niche, even if it has a dedicated fan base, but it doesn't get Netflix expectations, which are fucking pretty high because their expectations are based off of shows like Wednesday, Stranger Things, Squid Game, who became instant success and instant hits from like the first month it was released, which is honestly exceptions when we think of like TV shows in general. Like that doesn't happen like often, but Netflix think it does. Netflix think that if you're not top in, not even in the top 10, if you're not number 1 in like your home country by the following week it was released, Netflix will think, well, that didn't make it for me. More specifically, let me find a statistic. Most knowingly that during the first 28 days of the show's release, the first 28 days, that's when the whole analytics are like getting on, and Netflix is like not even studying, is like seeing if a show is worth it or not. After the first 28 days, if the show did it correctly, the whole cast and the writers will know if the movie, the show deserves a second seasons or not. They will cancel it after only 28 days. It's like they forgot that TikTok exists. It's like they forget that people can organically find a show, and this show can organically get more popular. Think about artists like Chaperone and Sabrina Carpenter, who took them 10 years to be one of the main pop girlies in 2024. It took them individually 10 years to be the queens that they are. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. And I'm not asking like Netflix to give a show that doesn't like making revenue for 10 years to them. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying give upcoming shows, more respect and more chances to get better, for its storyline to get developed, for us to get attached into the characters, and for TikTok to make the show more popular. Like, is that too hard to ask? Honestly, be honest with me. Like, comment down your thoughts. Of course, I would read them. Give smaller shows a chance too. They deserve it. And also, talking about TikTok, take for example the song "Running Up That Hill" by Kate Bush. I'm running on that hill. Na, na, na. Maybe it's not even that. That was originally released in 1985, who skyrocketed back to popularity after being featured on Stranger Things. Like, this song was everywhere last year or 2 years ago. Anyways, this song was everywhere. Even if it was a song that was released in 1985. That's crazy. Like, and this is the power of a song, and in this case, a show, to have like, to give time to the art to find their audiences. And that's the power also of TikTok, to kind of like not caring when the show started, when the music got released, what age the artist who is singing that song is. TikTok kind of got rid of ageism in that sense, because no matter what age the artist is, like Kate Bush, is she alive today? I don't know. um, Kate Bush with Running Up That Hill, who got popular a year or two ago. Like, we don't care if this woman is like old or not, as long as the song is fucking good. By the way, Kate Bush is alive. She's 66 years old. Keep going, queen. But yeah, so give fucking a chance to these shows. I'm I'm honestly speechless. Because this society, oh my god, it was so fucking good. I was almost about to watch it back doing this research for this video. I was like, should I? But I didn't, because I didn't want to get so fucking disappointed at the end, because I won't ever get my answers on what is going on, what will happen in season 2. At least release the script, like anyways. Anyways. And Julie and the Phantoms was so fucking good too. Anyways. In conclusion, can Netflix turn it around? Can Netflix turn it around? So where does that leave us? Netflix is still a giant in the industry, but it's increasingly under fire for its high prices, frustrating content strategy, and a growing number of competitors. But if Netflix is smart, which by far you kinda didn't really prove that, but I'll give you time and chance and chance to prove me otherwise. And you should also give time and chance again to prove these little shows that are worth it. Like, anyways. Otherwise, it. Wait, what? My brain got back like the feelings of all these shows getting cancelled. Otherwise, if Netflix isn't smart and listening to their audience and make the necessary changes, it risks alienating the very subscribers who helped build it into the powerhouse it is today. Like we said, there's multiple competitors. Don't make me cancel my subscription because you are not listening to us. Us! 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 Gracie Abrams feat Taylor Swift. Anyways, on that note, my loves, tell me which is one of your favorite TV shows that has been canceled by Netflix. Leave that in the comments below. I hope you have a beautiful night of sleep. I love you. Take care. Au revoir.